Now, welcome everybody. My name is Charles Owen. We're here today to talk to the Wallace hardware folks. This is your virtual user meeting. Unfortunately, we can't be together. I can't see you in person. Wish we could. Due to travel restrictions, obviously, that's not going to happen, at least not now. Hopefully the next show, the next market, we'll be able to meet again. We really miss you guys, and everybody's welcome here. Wallace hardware investors, store owners, as well as representatives from Wallace, and even anybody who's interested in learning about Paladin. So I'm going to go through this presentation rather quickly. If you have any questions, just submit a chat or a question box at the bottom, and we can address those at the end of the discussion. This is going to be about 25, 30 minutes maximum. We'll try to jet through this. There's a lot of information in here to learn. So let's go ahead and get started. What you're going to learn here is about our new help request portal system, some integrations that we have added recently that are really great for you to augment the Paladin system and increase your efficiencies. We're going to talk about the mobile devices, right? So we have some additional mobile devices. Some of you had experience with this, some haven't. We really do have some devices here that may help you in your attract more customers. All right, and then we're going to talk about the new point of sale features and then some new things that we'll be bringing on to Paladin. So the new help request portal, this is very important. I think that it's going to really improve our way that we can respond to you if you use the help request portal. If you notice at the top of the screen in Paladin, it says help. Under that, it says support. Under that, it says chat support, submit a help request, view active requests. These are options available to you. The first one is chat support. You can go ahead and put in a very simple question. We'll answer with a simple answer, hopefully. This is not intended for complex issues. This is intended for, hey, how do I do this again? Or, what time you guys open till? I mean, just simple things. And we're open from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday on weekdays, and however weekends and holidays we are not going to be manning the chat. Now, if you do go ahead and submit a help request, the first thing it's going to ask you, even prior to the screen you're looking at here, is it's going to ask you, is this a store down situation? So we give you an opportunity to tell us if this is something that is impacting or impeding your capability of helping your customers, right? Or submitting your orders or generating your statements, or if you're having problems with checkout, these are all considered store down situations. Once you do select, if you do say no, it's not a store down, it's going to bring you to this screen, which now allows you the opportunity to categorize the subject matter. It's very important because this way we can look for patterns, right? So in order to help folks, we want to see what the issues are coming in. In addition to that, you're going to tell it the subject matter. So first categorize it. In this case, it says startup login and passwords. They're fairly general. And then the subject matter is Paladin won't start. That's a good one. That to me sounds like a store down situation, but if it's only on one terminal, then that's not a big issue. Login and passwords. Anyway, you pick the one you want, and then you put in a quick description, a contact phone number, and a contact email. Those are required fields. And then just hit submit a help request. That will load it into our CRM system here at Paladin. It'll pop up on the screens of the available technicians, and they'll call you back based on the severity of the problem. You'll get an email request or confirmation or help request confirmation where it will come up and tell you, hey, yep, this has been put into the CRM system. We've issued it a request number or a case number. Have a great day, right? So you now are verification that you actually submitted a help request. And the reason we're doing all this is to help us service you better, right? We can be more responsive, we can be more efficient, we can look for patterns, and hopefully we're going to be able to get attention to your concerns sooner than later, right? And it's going to go to the right person, right? Because if based on the category, based on the subject matter, it's going to go to somebody who knows that subject matter better than somebody else. And this is much better than somebody just answering the phone and saying, "Oh, I have to, you know, put you on hold here so we can get you the right person." So we can do all that in advance, right? Just also helps us collect information, right? What version are you on? What Microsoft version are you on? For what Windows version are you on? What is the category and the subject matter? All of these things are collected and put into the system. So very good way for us to expand our service to supporting you better. All right, new integrations. So FastBound is, if you're doing any types of firearm sales and you need to, and if you are, then you need to provide an electronic bound book or a bound book, could be a manual bound book, or also anytime you acquire or sell a firearm, you need to track that information. Paladin has integrated with FastBound. It is a cloud-based system that keeps you firearms compliant all the time. The electronic 4473 or background check form is available. That will track that information. Anytime you receive firearms, we pop up a screen that has all the required information that you need to put in there, and then that information gets transferred automatically to FastBound. It is a seamless integration. If you're doing any types of firearm sales, you'll need to look into that. Another integration that we've added is QuickBooks Online. How's that different than the QuickBooks that you might be using today? Well, this is the online or cloud version. We did integrate directly with that. So if you want to be able to see your books from anywhere at any time, and you don't want to be tethered to your store computer, you can do that. You can transfer from enterprise to online, move all your data over there, and then we synchronize that data on a nightly basis. So just like enterprise, we offer a synchronization that at the end of the day, all of the roll-up numbers go to the QuickBooks system, the general ledger package. Now, in addition to that, we have another integration that we've added, which will enable you to turn on the sending over of closed invoices or purchase orders. So in Paladin, when you receive a purchase order and you close that purchase order out, it will automatically, within almost near real time, it'll send that information over to QuickBooks and it'll show up as a payable event. So another nice feature of this particular QuickBooks Online integration. All right, let's talk about mobile devices and apps. So you may have seen the Touch Dynamic Quest 3 tablet. You might have used it. You might be using it now. It has some very specific uses, right? This is not something that you'll want to order if you want to sell from your car on a flea market. That's an entirely different device. This device is a full-on Paladin license, okay? It requires a license fee, right? So you're going to be paying it. It's another terminal in your store, but you can use it remotely throughout your store, but you can do anything and everything, right? You can sell items. It has a credit card scanner. It has a signature capture device in it. It does all of that, and you can manage your inventory. You can run reports off of it. You can do anything you want with it. It is a full-on license. The only caveat is it has a virtual keyboard. There's no keyboard that you can open up. So if you're more comfortable with the keyboard, I would recommend a laptop device, which you can do the same thing. But the laptop obviously isn't going to have an embedded credit card reader, so you'd have to buy a small little remote swiper or dipper, which is a device I'll be showing you momentarily here that you can hook to a laptop, right? And then it's tethered to your system, but it still works. It's great. And if you want to be remote in your store, but you're not leaving your store and you need a full-on license and you don't mind not having an actual physical keyboard, this is a device that could work for you. All right, now if you want to sell product from anywhere in the world, you can do that on the Samsung Galaxy Tab. This is a tablet that we load a application. It runs on Android, and it enables you to sell from anywhere, anytime. And all you need is an internet connection, either cellular or Wi-Fi, and it will process a payment through a credit card reader that attaches to the top. It is only swipe or swipe only at this time, but it also lets you put invoices on account. It'll let you take cash, checks, and all that good stuff. So this is a device if you want to just do sales. Again, this is not a full-on license. You do not pay monthly for this at this time. This is something that it just augments your ability to sell through your store from anywhere, anytime. And again, all you need is a Wi-Fi or cellular connection or a mobile connection. All right. What is that application? Well, the application, again, it works on most newer Android devices. We do sell the device that with the product loaded on it. So once you get it, it is intended just to sell. So you can bring up and recall customers. You can recall quotes. You can store quotes. You can respect pricing plans and trade discounts for particular customers. But it's got some limitations. You cannot add new customers at this time, but you can pull up existing ones. And again, you can take a charge on account. That works as well. So with regards to respecting pricing plans and trade discounts, it does not currently know how to work with the loyalty programs. This is an entirely different application, and we have not written to that yet. But there's some great features, and you'll see that we've added some capabilities to this as well at the end of the presentation. Hopefully you're on 1.1.1 or higher. We're at 1.1.5 right now. So if you need some of these features that aren't in your system, we can get those to you by restoring the newer version. All right, Ingenico Lane 7000/8000. The only difference is one has a bigger window. This is the new credit card device that we are using. It accepts everything. It does near-field communication. It does touchless. You can sign right on the screen. It's got a pin pad. It does dip or swipe. So it does everything you need it to do. This is a device that we've been selling now for probably a year and a half, 2 years, and it's going quite well. The other one is the Verifone P400 payment terminal. This is something that's more mobile. This is the one I basically was mentioning. If you wanted to attach it to a laptop in your store and have the ability to dip, swipe, whatever, you can do this. It's a small footprint. It does not have signature capture though. So this is not something you'll be able to capture signatures on, but if you wanted that, you can put that on another small device and hook that into your laptop. It also works good if you're in a back office and you don't need the full-on signature capture part of the Ingenico or the credit card process. You can just attach this to your system, and now it will enable you to take credit cards in the back. It will also enable you to run stored credit cards through as a payment as well. All right, so what are some of the new features that are in the product? So a lot of these features, you may have already seen. Some of them you may not have a use for. We'll stick around because there are some features in here that I think there's just little nuggets of information that you might be able to obtain through this that are going to help you be more efficient in the way that you utilize the Paladin system. So the first one is 1,000 board foot, obviously for lumber yards, right? So this is something that we added. We've had the ability to purchase through a purchase order by 1,000 board foot, by board foot cost, and all you do is give it a quantity and it figures everything else out. Well, now we've extended that. Not only can you purchase 2,000 board foot, but if you want to, you can check another box in the Paladin system. It's the second one. So the first one is the cost per 1,000 board foot. That's how you want to buy it. And the other one is 1,000 board foot checkbox. MBF is the term that we use. Obviously, M is a Roman numeral for 1,000, and then board foot. If you check that box, then it changes the experience at checkout. No longer are you selling it by the stick, stick price, you're selling it by the board foot price. And then you put the quantity in and it figures it out. In this case, the pine 1 inch by 4 inch by 8 foot is $4,833 per board foot. If you want one, it's $12.89. That's kind of how we drive at that. All right, another thing that we've added for lumberyards is a square footage calculator. Now, we've always had, you'll see on this drop down, you see above the arrow is footage calculator. That's Control K. Well, now we've added a Control S to get square footage calculator. So you just put in the width by feet or width by inches, length by feet, length by inches, and then it calculates out what you need as far as tallying up the sizes. right? And that's just through a right click or Control S will bring up this window. And again, this is for sheets of lumber and other, maybe drywall and other things like that. All right. Something else. Now, this is kind of a handy thing for everybody, really. If you wanted to produce a quotation that you give to somebody, we now have the ability to number that quote, right? A quote is it's not an invoice yet, so we can't assign an invoice number to it. But what we've given you the capability to do is activate the numbering of quotes. So if you store a quote, it's automatically going to put that quote number at the top of the invoice. Secondly, it's going to print that quote number on the quote itself. It can be a large form, or in this case, a 3-inch. And then also when you store it, it enables you to put a memo in here, but it's going to pre-fill in that quote number 6. So this quote number is everywhere. So when the contractor comes back and says, yeah, I got quote number 357, I got the job, I need the supplies. So then you just go into the quotes, you look for quote number whatever, and there it is. And you just recall it. So to turn this on, you go to File, Setup, Invoice Stored tab, and enable quote numbers. Next is apply freight cost to EDI invoices. You can do this very easily. Now, we've had this capability for non-EDI, non-electronic data interchange, but we've added it based on the request of our customers. Some want to fold in the freight cost as part of the cost of goods, and you can do that now, and it's not a problem. You can apply freight on any invoice that comes in, whether it's a manual PO or whether it's through EDI. And once you do that, it will identify where freight has been applied. It puts a green checkbox. Where it hasn't, it just has a red X. This is optional. A lot of folks do track their freight separately, so you can continue doing that. Or if you wanted to fold it in with your cost, you can do that as well. Once you pick that, it's going to give you an opportunity to go with item cost or item weight, so you can distribute the freight evenly based on the weight or cost. And one tip here, you want to apply the freight cost as soon after you run EDI as possible, right? Once you start selling items and the stock on hand changes, all of a sudden the cost to apply that, it differs, right? So you want to make sure that you apply the freight as soon after you run EDI as possible. All right, next, customized email invoice messages. So if you're emailing invoices today, and that is if you check the box in the customer tab that says, hey, email invoices to these customers, you can now customize a message. Before it was just, here's an attachment, boom, you got to open it up, see what it is. Now you can have a nice little message that say, hey, we appreciate your business, look forward to seeing you next time, and put in your store information. You can set that up if you go into the File Setup tab, go under Forms, and there's a box called Email Message, and you just put in whatever message you want, and you can customize that. Next one is create a new purchase order from back-ordered items. Makes perfect sense to me. So let's say you order 500 items and they say, hey, we gave you 300, but 200 are back-ordered. Okay, great. If they don't support back orders, you'll want to, close that PO, close it out, and reorder those products, right? Well, now we've given you a single button to do this. If you press Revise PO, it will take whatever PO you're on, and all of the items that weren't received, it will create a new PO. It will reference the original PO, establish a new PO, and now you just send your order in again, and the order's in for those items that didn't come in the first time. Another feature here is add precision to PO quantity and price. So when you're selling products, you've always had the capability, or you have for the last few years, to be able to increase the decimal places up to 4 for quantity and 6 for cost. That was on the selling side. This is on the inbound, on the receiving side. So now on the receiving side, you have an opportunity to put in add precision. This is great for feed and seed stores, those that are selling a lot of material that, out to the 6 digits makes a big difference. So we've added this into the system for you. Schedule reports for weekdays. Kind of simple, but we've had folks that set up a preset report to run, and they didn't want to run it on the weekends. So we put in this additional setting here where you can select daily, exclude weekends. Now, I recommend that everybody that's using the Paladin system should have the first two stored preset reports on here. One is inventory valuation. The other one is account summary. Those looks like they're set up properly for this particular example. They're running monthly. That's why it has a little clock up here, indicates that they do run during the night, and they're always there 2 months later. If you want to go 2 months back, you can easily do that. The reason why it's important for these reports is these are what are called snapshots in time report. Snapshot and time reports need to be run on the end of the month, right? Because this might be something that your accountant asks you. I need to see the ending balance from February, the end of February. Well, if you didn't run that report, you don't have that data. Now, we can get that data for you. That's no problem. But to make it convenient for you and for your accountant, if you just have it run at the end of the month, it's there already, and you just go into Recall Reports, F10, as you can see down here, and you just run that. You just find that report, and now you're good to go. Excel version of the credit card deposit report. So this is the daily report, right? Under what I need to know, daily report. This is the credit card deposit report. Now, this comes as an option when you're producing your reconciliation, your till reconciliation report comes as an option. But if you wanted to get the itemization of the credit card transactions into an Excel document for further processing and or reconciliation, you can do that. Just go into credit card deposit report, click on export to Excel, and it gives you a nice Excel version of this, and this you can then maybe make it easier to reconcile with the credit card processor. Next, along the same lines, you have a transaction report via Excel. So this is the transaction report, as you know, goes to a PDF, but if you select the transaction report to Excel, it's going to bring everything into an Excel document. And before, this was all accounting department information. It was not something that you would want to share with your customer. Now you can, if you want, select detailed display customer friendly, meaning it will exclude things like cost, profit, discount, those types of things. And it'll show the customer everything that's on the receipt anyway. So this is a great feature that we have now in the running the transaction report through Excel. We've added a capability to exclude special orders from rewards. Those special orders tend to be quite, expensive items. Typically, if you're ordering it, it can be, and in some cases, you're at minimum margin on those items, and you don't necessarily want to give another discount away. So in the special order setup, you can set up a default class, and then you can just have that class excluded from either rich rewards or repeat rewards. The next feature here is for your those stores that are doing EMV or the chip cards. When you're storing credit cards in the customer module under stored credit cards, it will automatically default to a manual entry. Usually they're not there. They're calling up on the phone. Hey, just charge my credit card. Okay, well, let me put that on file. You bring up the customer module, you bring up that customer, you go to the electronic tab, and you add the information manually on the device, right, on the credit card device, because it's got to tokenize it. There is an option now. If you uncheck this manual entry box, it will enable you to swipe it or dip it in the machine, collecting that information, making it easier and faster when storing credit cards. It's a one-time thing. All right. New item fee details report. So there seems to be a lot of recycle fees, paint fees, core charges, different things that for different types of products. Well, now we give you a capability of, number one, customizing the name of that field. Right now, it just shows up as core charge, but you can change it to anything you want. And then 2, it can classify all those different fees and give you a report of all those different fees. So if somebody comes in to do an audit and say, hey, I need to see all of your paint charges that you charge for, we need to make sure that you're charging your customers for these recycle fees or whatever it might be. You can do that very easily, very simply. So the first thing you want to do is, you'll see this under the General tab in Inventory as you're looking at it right now. And you can set the name and the amount. In this case, it's 50 cents. Right? In other cases, the case above here for the latex paint, it's $1.60. Right? It's going to show that fee as a separate line item on the invoice, right? And to change the name of that core charge, in this case it's changed to required fee, you can go to File, Setup, Invoice Store tab, and there's something called Use Alternate Core Charge Identifier, and put that in there. Once you do that, when you go in now to produce a report, you go into to produce a report of all the required fee details or core charge details or whatever you call it. Under What I Need to Know, it'll show you your report name right there. In this case, it's going to be called Required Fee Details, but again, it can be called Core Charge Details or anything else. And then what it will do when you produce this report is it will go ahead and bring you up an Excel spreadsheet. It'll push all this to Excel. And there will be a summary page and then other workbooks, right? So the first summary page shows, hey, you have $97.50 of items that had no classification. But we did have $12 of class 400, which are garden chemicals, and we had class 500 of paint supplies at $62.40. And then if you go into any one of those individual workbooks, you can see the breakdown. So it's a great product. It handles all the new fees that, whatever legislation might be pushing upon us. All right. Now, another thing we've done here is you probably noticed that now when you go into an admin feature like networking or credit cards or something like that in the setup, it doesn't require that you put in an admin password. We were with passwords, we were getting so many requests from customers. Oh, I lost my password. It's been over 90 days. I didn't change my password. I can't get into the admin levels. Well, we added this initially because of the PCI compliance, right? We're processing credit cards. We got to be safe. We got to make sure we protect this. Well, rather than requiring a password, we're just making this a checkbox. So where before you had to have an admin password, now you just check the admin access down here on the bottom left-hand side says admin access. If you check this box, then that person has permission to do administrative functions. You want to take that away, just uncheck it, done. Right? So no longer are you going to have to be calling us, every 90 days asking for us to give you and assign you a new password. It's just gone. You're not going to have to worry about that. With one caveat, if you're doing a situation where you're actually voiding transactions, you're going to have to use a password for that, but that will be your login password. All right, let's continue on. So if you itemize taxes on your receipts, and only if you itemize taxes on your receipts, will you see a breakdown of the different tax municipalities. I know in some states like California, there's a lumber tax that has to be separated out on the receipt. This is one of those times when you would do that. But before, we would just round to the second decimal place, right? 2 decimal places. Well, when you do that, you lose the numbers behind it, right? In the case of the state, that example showing here, 0.739832. Well, the 9832 gets dumped, and we just look at this as either 73 or 74, depending on what the rounding mechanism is. Well, there was an occasion every blue moon where, hey, these numbers don't add up. So you look at the numbers on top and compare it to the number down below, and it might be a penny off. Very infrequently did that happen, but it was a rounding issue. And we've resolved that now by extending this out this many places. Was that 6 decimal places? And now there's no problems with that. In addition to that, it gets very much more precise when it comes to taxes, which, depending on how you pay your taxes and what the government's looking for, this information may or may not be useful to you, but it is something that really does help tune in those tax amounts. All right, so to see more information about all of these features, you can go to the Paladin knowledge base, and that's just portal.paladinpos.com. And once you go there, you can select, you can just search for 2020 and you can see the same information. Now, we're not done. Don't go anywhere. So we have some new point of sale features coming soon. So this isn't release 2021-A. These are features that are coming up. There's 3 or 4 of them I'm going to show you real quick, and they should be showing up on your system relatively soon, in the next month or so, I would think. All right, so one of those is a pick list report. So what is a pick list? Well, a pick list shows the remaining or outstanding unsold items of different orders. Right, so what is an order? Well, an order is a quote that has been confirmed, right? Here's a quote. All right, so I got my quote. It's got 500 items on it. Got the job. I want everything on this quote. Lock it in. All right, so they lock it in, and then they come in and say, I need the first 3 items, but nothing else. Okay, great. So you just bring up that order. You identify those items to be sold just by putting the amount in, and you process that transaction. It then saves that order with those items shown as sold, right? Any outstanding items at any time, you can say, well, we're ready to finish this job. I need the rest of the supplies. Great, let me run this pick list for you, and I'll grab you all the products, and we'll take them out to the job. Boom, just press the button, quick pick list, and it's going to show you the outstanding items. So very useful for fulfillment, right? Now, something else that's coming, this also pertains to quotes. If you do a lot of quotes and you forget to delete them, or let's say you just, you're hoping they're going to come back the first month and execute that stored quote, and they don't, right? So what happens? It just kind of sits there. Well, you might accumulate hundreds, if not thousands, of quotes that you've had over the months or years, and now you say, okay, this is ridiculous. We need to get rid of these quotes. Well, if you're not disciplined about going in and clearing out those quotes, and most people aren't, right? It's one of those things where, it's the last thing on your list of important things to do. But you do want to clear these quotes out. So we give you a capability now to get rid of the quotes based on the age of the quote. All you have to tell Paladin is how many days after you put in a quote do you want it to just fall off the system and disappear, right? Now, you don't have to do this. You can keep your quotes just like you do now, and no problem. Just don't put a number, put a number 0, and they'll never be deleted. And that's what the default will be. But if you put in a number that says, hey, I want to delete them after 30 days, great. Once a week, it's going to go through and declutter and get rid of everything that's 30 days and older. Again, this is a weekly function, a weekly cleanup, if you will, giving you a little bit more cushion to maybe go back and say, oh, I don't really want to get rid of that one. Let me take it out or re-add it in. But this gives you a capability to get rid of all the older quotes. If you say, 90 days or greater, if it's been 90 days, your prices have changed so much anyway that you wouldn't even recognize that quote. So that's a good number, and that is going to be capable. You're going to have this capability in the not too distant future. All right, do remember that those quotes cannot be restored, right? So they're just kind of sitting there, and once you remove them, they're removed for good. Nothing's been done on them. Nothing's been transacted. There's no issue with that. I just wanted to remind everybody that they will be removed for good. All right, what else is coming new? Well, we have now a transaction report that will include all the different alternate IDs. Why would you have an alternate ID? Well, if you have an integration, if you've got a rewards integration, or you have a point of rental integration or evolution integration, this and many other integrations require a very specific customer ID that may be different than your original customer ID for your customer. And that's what, in fact, this will do. So we'll include these different IDs, alternate IDs, such as rewards numbers, but also for other integrations. and show those to you on the screen. All right. One last thing. I believe this is the last one. Coming soon. So I'd made reference to the fact that we have a new feature in the 1.1.5 mobile to checkout version, and that is the capability to skip a signature. Now, before you didn't have that capability. You had to put in something, a line, an X, whatever. This will allow you to skip a signature when you're out at the job and nobody's around to sign, and you don't feel comfortable, putting anything in there. You can say skip signature. Done. End of story. So all these features will be coming out in in the not too distant future. Some of this stuff is rolling out to stores now. We do have it in alpha, and we may have some of these features also in beta. So if you're an alpha or a beta store, you have the capability to go in and look at this stuff and to use these features. I would always encourage you guys to continue learning. The fact that you're here, that you've attended this meeting, really appreciate it. I know you're busy. You got a lot of things to do. Hopefully you're enjoying your week or two or month of the Wallace hardware market. I think this virtual is hopefully working out for everybody. But I'm also praying and hoping that it goes away really soon so that we can all again be together again. So before I depart, any questions and answers? I don't see any yet. I'll keep looking. Now, the next webinar, Protect Your Profits with Minimum Margins. I think this is something that you will want to attend. And if you're not able to attend it on April 20th at 9 a.m. Pacific time, you may view it after it airs. So we are recording this and all of our webinars, and you can see those at portal.paladinpos.com/webinars, as it shows you right here. And not only can you see the webinars of the past, but you can also sign up for webinars of the future, such as the Protect Your Profits and Margins. So this is I think, really an undersold benefit of Paladin is how we give you the capability to manage your margins, right? Now, we're not a big margin hunters, right? We're looking for more customers, selling more products more often at a higher ticket volume, right? That's what we're looking at. But you can't hide from the truth, right? Your goal is to buy low, sell high. That's the whole purpose here. Well, Paladin gives you measures in the system that gives you an opportunity to make changes to prices, to lure more customers in, to run promos and promotions and rewards programs, but still protect your margin, right? So we're going to talk about that in great detail. I'd love to see you there. As always, it's been a pleasure. You've got information you can attain here and glean from under Paladin Point of Sale. There's a websites drop down in the top right hand corner of our standard website where you can go to Retail Science. You can go to the help portal as well, where you'll find webinars and knowledge-based articles. And then if you want to shop for supplies, we also have that there. You can go to the Paladin store. So thank you guys so much for attending. God bless you. Have a great rest of the day and week and month and year. We look forward to it again. Thank you.